The movie begins where we see a woman named Tess who has arrived at an Airbnb which she has rented. When she tries to enter the code to get the key, she finds the key is missing. Tess calls the rent company for help, but gets no help and decides to wait in car. Suddenly, she sees the light is on in the house and rings the bell to check. A boy named Keith opens the door and Tess is surprised to see him. While talking, they come to know they have booked the same house through 2 different websites. Keith checks her reservation and invites her inside so they can call the company. Tess asks Keith to show his booking and finds it's to be genuine. Tess says she will go outside and look for hotels, but Keith advises her to be inside and search her hotels. He says the neighborhood is not safe at this time and Tess agrees. While searching for hotels, Tess is unable to find any hotels as they are full. Keith says that there is an exhibition in town because of which hotels are full. He tells Tess she can spend the night here and says he will sleep on couch while she can take the bedroom. Tess is hesitant but finally agrees and changes her clothes to spend the night. Keith invites her to the kitchen to have a drink with him and they start talking. Tess says she came here for a job interview for working as an assistant for a documentary filmmaker. While talking, they both realize they have common interests and have a good time. They discuss on topics like music and love and become friends, and Keith helps Tess set up her bed. While sleeping, Tess hears a noise and wakes up to find her room door open. She goes to find Keith, who is talking in his sleep, and wakes him up and asks him about the door. Keith says he did not open the door, so Tess decides to lock her door and go back to sleep. In the morning, she finds a note from Keith saying he has gone out for work and asks to leave the key in lockbox. Tess leaves the keys and sees that all houses around her house are empty and abandoned and feels scared. Tess goes into the town and has her interview with the filmmaker. The interview goes well and the filmmaker advises Tess to be careful in the area she is staying. On returning back at the house, she is chased inside by a homeless man who yells at her to leave. She gets scared and calls the police for help, who say they will send someone in some time. When she goes to the bathroom, she does not find any tissues and decides to check the basement. She finds tissues in the basement and goes down to get them, but the door locks closes and she is stuck there. Her phone is in the room and the keys are in her pocket, so she can't contact anyone. While searching for something to open the door, she finds a rope in one of the walls. She pulls the rope to reveal a hidden corridor inside a wall, and she decides to explore it. The corridor leads to a room with a camcorder, a stained mattress, a bucket, and a bloody handprint. Tess gets scared and runs out of the room to find Keith outside. Keith helps her open the glass window and come out of the basement. Tess tells Keith about the hidden corridor and the weird room she found down in the basement. Keith decides to go and see the room, but Tess tells him not to and decides to leave from there. Keith tells her to wait upstairs till he goes down in case he gets locked in the basement too. Keith goes down and Tess waits for him upstairs. After some time, when Keith does not come back, Tess leaves a chair to block the gate and goes down. She goes in the corridor to the hidden room and is surprised to find Keith is not there. Suddenly, she finds a subterranean tunnel attached to the hidden corridor which has many stairs. She hears Keith calling for help and goes down to look for him. Below, she finds some cages, and suddenly Keith comes to her and tells her someone is down here. Keith says someone bit him and injured him, and Tess is scared and asks him to leave from there. Suddenly, they are attacked by a naked, deformed woman who looks like a monster. The monster catches Keith and kills him by violently bashing his skull against a wall, and Tess cries for help. In next scene, we see an actor named AJ who is driving his car and gets a call from his manager. The manager informs AJ that he is fired from a television series over allegations that he raped his co-star Megan. AJ is shocked to hear this and says this is all a lie to defame him. The manager asks him to calm down and wait till the investigation is on. The manager informs AJ that Megan is filing a case against him, and soon this story will be out in media. AJ goes to meet his accountant to discuss his finances and finds out that he does not have enough money. He will need to sell some of his properties to get some money to fight his cases, and AJ agrees to do so. While going to the airport to sell his property, he finds that the story has been published. He asks his lawyer whether he can call Megan and sort this out, but his lawyer advises him not to do so. AJ picks up the keys to one of his properties, and we come to know it's the same house we saw before. He enters the home and finds the chair blocking the gate and removes it, and finds more things in the bathroom. He finds Tess and Keith's luggage still in the house, and even calls his manager to find out more. His manager informs him no one has been renting the house since last 2 weeks. Later, AJ meets his friend in a club and tells him that he forcefully slept with his co-star. He comes home drunk and even calls and leaves a message to Megan to apologize to her. In the morning, AJ finds the car keys and decides to check the basement. He takes a torch and knife and goes in the basement and finds the secret corridor and the room. AJ decides to measure the extra space in the basement, thinking it will increase the price since he wants to sell the house. While measuring the corridor, he finds the second room and decides to go down the stairs. Down, he finds a room where a TV is on which is showing how to breastfeed your baby. Suddenly, his measure tape is pulled away and AJ is attacked by the monster. The monster captures AJ and throws him in a hole where he meets Tess, who is still alive. Next, we are shown a flashback of 1980 where we see a man named Frank who is the original owner of the house. He goes to the supermarket and buys some things for the birth of his new baby. On his way back home, he follows a woman and goes to her house as a repairman to unlock her windows. We come to know that Frank kidnaps women, rapes them, and keeps them captive in the room in the basement, also rapes the offspring. In the present time, Tess and AJ are locked in a hole by the monster. Tess tells AJ to stay calm and not shout to upset the monster. Tess says that the monster is called the mother and thinks that they both are her children. The mother lowers a milk bottle to feed them, and Tess says she just wants to feed them. Tess drinks from the bottle, but AJ does not drink from it. The mother comes down and hugs Tess and gets angry on AJ. AJ is dragged away by the mother, who forcibly breastfeeds him. Tess uses the opportunity to escape from there and breaks the glass window to escape. He is helped by the homeless man from earlier, who warns her that the mother will come after her at nightfall. He introduces himself as Andre and says he stays near the water tower. Tess tells him about AJ and says they need to help him also, but Andre refuses to go in. Andre tells her to get out of the town before dark and never come back. In the basement, while trying to escape, AJ finds another room and goes inside. In the room, AJ finds Frank, who is now old and sick, and assumes him to be another victim of the mother. Tess reaches a petrol station and calls the police for help, who come and find her. The police go back to the house with Tess, but refuse to break the door and go in. They think Tess is a junkie and do not believe her and go away from there. AJ assures Frank that he will call the police and finds some videotapes and plays one. He sees evidence of Frank's crimes and gets scared, and Frank kills himself with a revolver. Tess breaks a window and goes inside to find her car keys and starts her car. When Mother comes out of the house, Tess rams her car into her and kills her. Tess returns to the basement to rescue AJ, and AJ takes Frank's gun to escape from there. AJ, assuming the approaching footsteps are of the mother's, mistakenly shoots Tess with Frank's gun. Tess is hurt, but not dead, and the two escape the house and find that the mother has vanished. Tess and AJ decide to go the water tower and take shelter with Andre. Andre tells them Mother has been living in the house for 40 years and it belongs to her father Frank. Andre says she has become like a monster due to Frank's incest with his victims. AJ says sorry to Tess for shooting at her and says he feels bad for her. Suddenly, the mother comes in and attacks Andre by ripping his arm off and beats him to death with it. Tess and AJ run away from there and decide to go up the water tower, and Mother chases them. At top of the tower, AJ sees Mother is coming up but drops his gun. He decides to save himself and pushes Tess off the tower, thinking Mother will go after her. The mother jumps after her, and to save her and AJ sees both are dead. AJ goes down and finds Tess is still alive and says he had no choice for his actions and says sorry to her. Suddenly, the mother gets up and catches AJ and gouges his eyes out, killing him. The mother attempts to comfort Tess, but she shoots the mother dead with Frank's gun and limps away as the sun rises.